Today we are talking about exercise selection. So yeah, I get asked this question all the time. What exercises are worth my time? I have a limited time, availability, limited experience in the gym. I don't know what I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing. And the first thing to do, in my opinion, is to master like 5 basic movement patterns. You've got the squat, you've got the hinge, you've got push, pull, and carry. If you can master those 5 movement patterns, you are well on your way to gaining muscle and losing fat and making the workouts actually effective, making training actually an effective part of your day. Now, in those categories of exercises, there are basically infinite amount of options for you to choose from. And generally, I strive to select options for myself and for my clients that it checks 3 boxes for me. First, I want it to be safe for both me and my clients. I don't want to be doing something cool just so it'll get me likes on Instagram. The second is I want it to be relatively easy to learn, and that is so that someone that's new in the gym, someone that's new to the gym can step in day one and not have to learn a ton to get sort of a muscular response. That's kind of what I'm going for. The third one is easy to measure. I want to be able to take an exercise and be able to quantitatively measure it over time. I don't know if I'm getting better at an exercise over time. I can look at the speed with which I'm doing it. I can look at the weight that I'm lifting or other metrics that can quantitatively show me that I'm getting better at the exercise, so I don't get lost in the weeds. And I'm generally going to train larger muscle groups more often than not. The reason for that is they will produce a greater metabolic response, meaning I'm going to burn more calories. They are generally safer in nature, and they generally are easier to learn for people and don't require a ton of mind-muscle connection. Great example of this, if I have a client that works out twice a week with me, the likelihood that we do some sort of forearm or calf exercise is extremely low. And not only is that an amount of muscle that is necessary for their long-term health and success, but also all these other compound movements that we do, like running or deadlifts or squats, will train those muscles effectively enough. And this might be another video for another time, but where people kind of get lost in the weeds of comparing themselves to professional athletes or to bodybuilders, people that are paid for their appearance or their performance. Well, this guy is doing a calf raise, or this guy is doing like forearm curls. It's like, yeah, he or she spends 10 or 15 hours a week in the gym. You can only do so many squats, 10, 15 hours. You start doing other smaller exercises and they are judged on their appearance. And while you may judge others on their appearance, you're not judged for your appearance as much as you may think. So let's take a bench press, for example. On day one, I want to be able to perform a horizontal pressing exercise with one of my clients. I'm not going to do something complex on a Bosu ball or involving Olympic movements. I'm going to stick to something that is, again, compound in nature, involving multiple joints, pretty easy to learn, and pretty safe for them to do. So I'll probably pick something like a dumbbell bench press. This will allow them to, regardless of their current strength levels or conditioning, feel the target muscle that I'm going for, mostly the pecs, shoulders, and triceps, and effectively train that muscle on day one. It's also very scalable on the other end. If I get somebody more advanced, I can very easily train them with 80, 100-pound dumbbells performing the exact same exercise as my day one client. Then, as you get stronger over time, you can start to involve the barbell, you can start to involve more velocity, more resistance, all of these progressions to make the movement more appropriate to your current adaptation levels, while not really increasing the danger of the exercise. You can get stronger, you can get fitter, you can lose more weight, and that progressive overload is what keeps you progressing over time, consistently adding some sort of intensity. You will likely never outgrow the basic 5 movement patterns. Some of my clients are surprised when we do the same exercises or similar versions of the same exercises week after week. And I tell them I want you to practice getting the movement right, because once you learn the basics of that movement within that category, take the squat for example, once you learn how to effectively squat, and then when we introduce a more challenging movement like a barbell front squat, you can just copy paste with the rules that you've already learned. Hey, I gotta make sure that my abs are on when I start. Gotta make sure that my glutes are on when I start. Gotta make sure my chest is relatively upright. Like those basic cues, you can just take and copy and paste to the next movement. So that way when you're learning new movements or when you see something else, you're like, that kind of falls into that category, and I can just I kind of know the rules for that, so copy paste, and I know I'm doing it safely, and I know it's like worth my time, like I'm feeling a muscle really work. And again, unless you are being paid for your preference, performance, or appearance, or both, you likely will never need other exercises outside of that realm. We're in sort of an age of like endlessly trying to impress or like take it up to the next level. So you see some crazy like cable machine balance, Bosu ball, while like the guy's saying like the alphabet backwards while like juggling Rubik's cubes and solving them. And that doesn't really produce enough of a response to make the injury risk worth it in my book. And if you're just starting out, don't let your ego drive exercise selection. Don't be intimidated by what you see on the internet or what you see other people doing in the gym. Really try to focus on simple movements performed in control for increasingly difficult reps or sets or intensities over a period of weeks. Not enough people play the long game. The long game is just showing up, clocking in, doing decently hard but not impossibly difficult workouts for a period of months. They generally are very flexible, stay really injury resistant, and are super duper strong. Because to me, like intensity for intensity's sake is rarely worth it. Like you don't want to go into the gym just to suffer or just to punish yourself. Like it's a celebration or it's an exploration of what you can do with your body. It's not like a punishment for what you ate, right? So those are my thoughts on exercise selection.